My question is, didn't you say they did, like, in the interview clip that I seen on your YouTube? Didn't they say they did this like back in the day?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. This
Why,
is
if
this
it
this
was,
is already happening. You know, they
I mean, if they did it back in the day, why'd they stop if it was so good? Like,
mm,
that's, if it was so good and it was going to save the trucking industry, why did they stop it in the first place?
What's going on, Mutha Truckers? Welcome to Mutha Trucker News. Email us at muthatruckernews@gmail.com. Last week, we were at F3 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the vice president of JB Hunt's Intermodal and the vice president of BNSF Rail came together and made this big announcement. And, everybody's been talking about it. They just announced that JB Hunt and BNSF launched service that can move 7 to 11 million loads from over the road to intermodal.
Back. Actually, a jump back to the past. And
well, I get a picture from Steve that runs a local route, and he says on this route he never sees JB Hunt containers like this just going back and forth. He had to snap a picture. So he's asking the question to all the JB Hunt drivers, and we're starting this topic of debate today is, has it started already? Has quantum been in the mix? And are they taking a lot of the OTR freight away from the drivers and putting them on rail? Right. And so, I mean, I'll put the video for the people that haven't seen it, but basically anywhere between 7 to 11 million loads that they're saying potentially will be taken off of the OTR drivers and put on rail. Now Steve is a local driver himself. So from that, he says, look, once you're there, there's still accidents that can happen. It could take hours. He just had an experience today that took 2 hours doing an LTL load when it should have been really quickly. So how are they saying that it's going to be 95% on time? Right. So, where do you think the future of trucking will be? Because JB Hunt believes from this that it's rail to local pickups and drop offs.
Oh
So
yeah, man.
what the heck you up to, bro?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to pull through the slow phase.
Oh no, I hear you on that. So doing local work, right?
Yep, yeah, that's all I do. I'm a local driver.
No, that's perfect to talk about because you sent me a picture a couple days ago and I thought, man, this is moving fast, or some people are like, Alex, I already knew about this. Why are they making it sound like a big thing? Because I was at the Freight Waves last week, and pretty much the vice president of JB Hunt's Intermodal and the vice president of BNSF were like making a big deal out of this. Like, man, this is great for everybody. We're gonna take 7 to 11 million loads away from OTR highway and put them on a train, right? And so, I mean, what was crazy that they talked about on it was they said that they're thinking that they're going to have 95% on time delivery. So I don't know enough about the rail yards and stuff, but doesn't it take like a long time to get to where
Yeah,
you need to go?
man, they're desk drivers. They don't. I don't see how they can do it because, man, I mean, even being local, I mean, whenever I'm running up to Charlotte, I mean, one accident can make a 8 hour day into a 12, 13 hour day. So that's all it takes is one accident or one hiccup somewhere. And that's it. Like today, I was assigned an LTL load today. Supposed to be a quick 8 hour day, super simple. Hey man, we're a little slow. Take this LTL to work. I was like, let's do it, dude. I got both of my customers, both of them. Every one of them. Well, both the guys were like, hey, no one showed up for work. It's just me, so it's gonna be a little bit. I'm like, okay, no problem. I understand. It happens. What's a little bit? Maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, me by myself on an LTL, less than
Right.
truckload. So, and it's like, dang, okay, let's do it. And so, I
Man.
mean, there's hiccups everywhere, man. Like, how can you say 95,
Yeah,
85?
that's crazy. So, you know, do you think like and the reason why I thought it'd be great to have you on too is because like if I get on a JB Hunt driver, like that JB Hunt driver could get fired. You know what I mean? For like talking a little bit. This is just, you know, us talking here. So, okay, just say they, they per se take these loads away from the OTR JB Hunt drivers and they put them on a rail and then it gets to the port. There's a good chance it still could be late just because of traffic and all that good stuff that you're talking about, right?
And not only that, but I mean, all my buddies that used to run those ISOs, they don't do it no more because they said they'd go down to the port and sit there for 6 hours. I don't know from experience. I'm just telling you what my friends told me, and I don't see why they would lie to me.
No, I hear you. I hear you. So tell me, where the heck were you when you took that picture?
So there's a railroad that runs right beside our terminal. And man, it's almost like clockwork. Every 30 minutes, boom, a train. 30 minutes, boom, a train. You can set your watch to it. So I was first time I noticed that I was going into work because I know if I'm running a little behind, I'm gonna get called by that train. So I was like, dang, there's no Maersk, there's no Hub, there's no Schneider. It is all JB Hunt. I was like, well, you know, Alex is crazy. There's no way it started already. And then on my way home that day, I go over that same railroad track, and lo and behold, the train got me again. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. I got to send a picture to him. I said, I didn't think it would be this quick, but maybe they're starting with the intermodal stuff, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know, it's one of those things, you know. So, no, that's good to bring up. What part of town was that in?
It's in Spartanburg. So there's an inland port in Greer, which is, you know, small southern towns. You know, there's every 10 miles there's another town. So
what state is that in for people that don't know?
South Carolina.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, go Gamecocks, you know. But yeah, I mean, coincidence, sure, but you know, it's crazy, you know, because you know we got Charleston down there. That's a huge port city for the state, and they run a railroad straight up to the inland port. And usually, that inland port's meant to like. There's two really big manufacturers here, BMW being one of them, Michelin is another one. A lot of times, that stuff is just used to facilitate them, but you know it's also been used to just move stuff up. That way the ports don't get backed up down there in Charleston. So I mean that railroad runs right there in front of that port. So the reason I know that is because when I was a little boy, there was a building caught on fire beside it and burnt the track up, and so I just know from
you know the area well. So you know this is interesting, you know, and you know, again, this is just, it could be a coincidence or what, but this brings up the topic, you know, for all the JB Hunt drivers out there, you know, are you seeing it? Are you seeing a lot more of these containers, intermodal containers that you guys have? You know what I mean? Are they getting shipped on the rail? I mean, is that what's going on here? And what do you guys really think about it? Do you think that there's so much work out there that is not going to really take your job away, or is this like wishful thinking that they think that they can actually do this without a lot of highway OTR drivers, right? So, you know, that goes to the questions to all the JB Hunt drivers. You know, sign into your random anonymous alias link so that, you know, JB Hunt doesn't know who you are if you're talking trash, right?
Well, my question is, didn't you say they did, like, in the interview clip that I seen on your YouTube, didn't they say they did this, like, back in the day?
Oh, yeah. This is already happening. You know, they...
I mean, if they did it back in the day, why'd they stop if it was so good? Like, you know, that's... If it was so good and it was going to save the trucking industry, why did they stop it in the first place?
Actually a jump back to the past. And we're going to step back to the year 1989. And for those historians in the room You might recognize this as a very significant year in our industry. But at this particular time, our industry was completely different. It was different because railroads and truckers were fierce competitors. They didn't work together. It was different because really intermodal had not even been thought of. But then two visionaries came together, two pioneers, Mr. J.B. Hunt and Mr. Mike Haverty, who then was president of the Santa Fe Railroad. They came together on what's now known as a very historic train trip departing Chicago. On that trip, they made a deal. They made a deal with a handshake. And they said, we're going to work together. We're going to work together because we need to do something different. Our customers are demanding that we create long-term value with a more efficient way to move freight. They didn't know what that deal was going to become, but in that discussion, they left and then set their teams to work. They set their teams to work to figure out how to put J.B. Hunt trailers on the Santa Fe Railroad. And when they did that, those teams came together and they came up with this idea and this brand, and they called it Quantum, by investing in our people, our technology, and capacity. And at J.B. Hunt, we said we were going to expand our container fleet by 40%, up to 150,000 containers by 2027. The BNSF also said they were going to expand their railroad network, expand their track, their terminals, expand their technology, and also invest in their people. We started making great progress with that. But as you can see here, as an industry, the intermodal industry continued to struggle. And the industry historically has been about 6.7% of the highway market. You can see that the share of that business started to decline, and really coming into this year was down to almost 5.5%. That represents around 1.4 to 1.6 million loads. So you can look at that and say, okay, well, what is the growth of the industry? What's that look like? Well, not very good. As an industry, we've flatlined since 2017. So you can get kind of discouraged by that. Or, in the spirit of Mr. Hunt and Mr. Haverty, you can also look at that as an opportunity. And you can think, what if the industry would have continued growing and creating value for customers to do that at the same rate from 07 to 17? What would it look like for the next 10 years? Well, this is what it looks like. It looks like a tremendous opportunity. A tremendous opportunity for us to win back the share. A tremendous opportunity to create new value for our customers again, to win back their trust. But that's not enough. That's just what it could be, what it should be. But we also know we can take another leap forward. Another leap forward in the intermodal industry by doing something completely different. And so, with the inspiring words of one of our co-founders, Mrs. John L. Hunt, I'd like you to listen to what she thinks about the future of intermodal.
This, I will say, was the beginning of the biggest thing we've ever done. We're going to order these containers, we're going to put them on the railroad, and look at what it has become.
All right, we're in the quantum phase of intermodal. And with quantum, in 1989, we launched quantum to take care of our customers' highway freight and put it on the train. And in 2023, we're bringing quantum back. We're bringing quantum back to create a completely unprecedented level of consistency, an unprecedented level of operational agility, and that agility that can take care of our customers' most service-sensitive highway freight that they've never thought about putting on the train. And we believe we can take a leap forward in doing that. And so, to help me talk about it a little bit further, I would like to invite our president and EVP at J.B. Hunt, Mr. Darren Field, as well as Mr. Tom G. Williams, Group Vice President of Consumer Products at the BNSF. Please help me welcome them to the stage. Hey, gentlemen. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Good.
Hey, we just made a big announcement, but before we get into that, I'd like to just take a second. We had a big joint initiative that we launched in March of 22. And with that, I'd just like to take a step back and have each of you share what led up to that announcement. Why'd we do that? And Darren, maybe you can start.
Sure. Well, I think as much as anything, it's an evolution of our relationship for now more than 30 years. You know, that relationship and that foundation from Mike Haverty and Mr. Hunt is really built on a mutual commitment to deliver exceptional customer experience through the intermodal products. And that commitment is mutual to our customers and to each other. And as we hadn't previously done a big announcement about hard capacity expansion, but as you mentioned, I heard in your presentation, I mean, March of 2022, customers were frustrated with the experience they were having, and we wanted to make it a strong commitment to our customers publicly about expansion of those hard assets. And that's not the only thing that we're working on, but certainly the container fleet is the most visible part of our capacity, and so really wanted to show our customers that we're committed along with BNSF to expanding our capacity.
Yeah, you bet. Big investment. And Tom, same from a BNSF perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a culture of collaboration, as you noted, that goes back over 30 years now. And so, we made an announcement last year, but I would also say that that's just a continuation of what we've been doing for a long time in terms of getting our teams together, setting joint goals, and executing against strategies that ultimately are designed to provide a better intermodal service for our joint customers.
Yeah. Big joint announcement. And then really, we set that up. We've been investing across the board. But you might share, really, that was March of 22. Over the last 18 months or so, what have y'all been doing since? And Tom, you might start with that.
Yeah, so I would think about the investments that we announced in 22 as foundational to providing a higher quality overall base level intermodal service that we can build upon. And so from a BNSF perspective, really going back to 2019, we've invested over $2 billion in expansion capital alone. And a lot of those investments are strategically focused around the intermodal offering so that we can, one, add capacity, but also improve the consistency and reliability of just the base level service. So some of the facts around that: 90 miles of additional mainline tracks, so double and triple tracking in locations to provide a more consistent train service. 8 miles of loading track at our ramps. We call those production tracks at our intermodal facilities. 8 additional miles of those loading tracks and over 7,000 parking spaces. So again, capacity to handle additional volume and capacity to handle that additional volume more consistently over time.
Yeah, Darren?
Well, when we talk about the hard capacity, expanding containers, expanding lift capacity in facilities, it takes people, process, and technology together to execute on our commitment for our customers. And I think the collaboration together on people, today in that last year, we have J.B. Hunt employees embedded with BNSF in Fort Worth in their planning center. We have better defined, I think, our SOPs and how we interact with each other in terms of making efficiency the goal for our drivers and for all of our employees, and then really integrating our technology. Today our clouds talk to each other.
Yeah.
So really we're very integrated and working on all the behind the scenes roles that drive